Originally constructed in 1996, Las Vegas Motor Speedway held its first major event in September of that year, an Indy Racing League race won by Richie Hearn. The first NASCAR event, NASCAR Truck Series race, followed 2 months later. NASCAR Xfinity Series paid a visit in '97 before the NASCAR Cup Series arrived in 1998, marking the beginning of the track's long-term success. Changes to the oval in 2006 made it a more competitive venue for stock cars. This major renovation revamped the banking, upping it from a modest 12 degrees to 20. Not only that, but the corners were banked progressively, meaning the further up the racing surface, the steeper the banking. Lap times got quicker, racing got more competitive, with the current stock car track record held by Kurt Busch at just over 196 miles per hour. Tonight, it's the Downrange Transport Premier Series High Roller 201, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the GLSR Downrange Premier Series, race number 2 of the season underway. Surprise, we're here live. That really wasn't the plan. We were going to be over broadcasting the Gulf Coast Sim Racers late model stock event over at Martinsville. Wasn't sure about car counts. We ended up being wrong, but we made the decision to come over here and run live at Las Vegas. Going to tape delay the Gulf Coast Sim Racers event for, I believe, Friday for a tape delayed broadcast for those guys instead of GLSR. So let's take a look at the race information for tonight. Again, the second race of the season, the High Roller 201, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Air temperature starting to cool off, 65 degrees. Nice and dry, 11% humidity. Track temperature at 68, and we'll do it for 134 laps here tonight at Vegas. Details as far as tires over the wall, they do have 3 sets to work with this evening, with a 100% fuel capacity at its maximum. Practice still underway. Just a couple of minutes remain in the session. Let's go down trackside to see where everybody's lining out. Fastest on the board is a 21 of Brandon Alphin, 29.94. One of only 2 drivers to crack the 29s here. 77 of Sam Fontaine, a 29.98, only 0.04 of a second slower than Brandon Alpine. Solid field of cars here tonight. Looks like we're coming in here with 32 drivers to be exact. Certainly not too little, not too many. Call it the Goldilocks category here, get it about just right. Less than a minute remains in the session here. We'll jump right into qualifying to set the field for tonight's race. Again, it is the High Roller 201 Downrange Transport Premier Series, race number 2 of the season. Take a look at Jason Dalton's new paint scheme for tonight. W. Odell Dalton on the side of that machine. That's to pay homage to Dalton's grandfather, no, his uncle, who was in Vietnam. Vietnam veteran, passed away about 2 years ago. So this one's for him. Again, just post-Memorial Day. Awesome paint scheme on that number 2 Camaro. So just like that, practice wraps up. See who takes to the track first here to start their qualifying session. Diego Sainz appears to be the first one to leave pit lane. Diego out of Richmond, Texas. '44 machine takes the green flag. First lap of 2. Set the starting order for tonight's race. Diego right down to that white line in the middle of the corner. Opens up the wheel off of turn number 4. Let's see where he lines out. Lap 1, second quick, 30.544. Looks like Sam Fontaine fastest so far. The 77, a 30.27 on his first lap. Awfully close to that turn 2 wall. Inches between the safer barrier and the right side of that number 77. Just below the white line, middle of 3 and 4. Hopefully it doesn't wash him up the racetrack too far. Seems okay. No, gets a piece of the wall. That's going to kill this lap. Fontaine at the stripe. Lap counts, but it's not faster. He drops back to P5. Chris Treppa, second lap, 30.108. Brandon Alphin on track, 30.404 his first lap. He was fastest in practice. Where does he land here in qualifying? P1 goes to the point, 30.076. Jason Dalton wraps up. He's 5th quick, 30.189. Asher Gwinzy, number 12 machine, 30.621. Sean Petchin just wrapping up, the number 69 machine. Looks like he's got the Air Force colors. 30.245. He rides 8th currently. Stephen Miles, the number 24 machine on track. Miles running the Ric Flair paint scheme. Lap 1's a 30.372, 18th quick. Wouldn't pay too much attention to the lap times that Miles puts down here. He's always there in contention for these wins at the end of these races. Doesn't seem to matter where he starts. He's very smooth, very calculating, takes care of his equipment. Oh, he gets a piece of the wall, though, just as I say. He takes care of the equipment. Bangs the right side in the fence. Tough break for the qualifying run. He's going to start near the back. Tyler Brewer on his out lap off turn 4. Again, the quali session, only 5 minutes, so just above 1 minute remains. Top of the board, we missed it. The 11 Justin Bonnarant knocks Brandon Alphin off the pole by 2/100ths of a second. Brewer out of turn 4. Real loose. Doesn't hit the wall, but that's not healthy for it. That's going to hurt both laps, really. Lap 1's going to be slow because of the exit of 4, and lap 2 is going to be slow because of how the second one started. Real loose on entry. 23rd quick for Brewer, 30.691. Telder on the track here. He's likely to be the last one to finish up a lap. Maybe Andrew Miller. We'll see. 30.654 the first lap for Telder. At the line, Telder checks in 17th quick with a 3:42. Miller's got about 15 seconds to get this one wrapped up. He's in 3 and 4. Let's listen to the engine RPM. It's not as high as we've heard some of these drivers, but either way, oh, he catches a piece of the wall, though. That's going to hurt. Hopefully it does not invalidate his lap. And it might have done just that as the clock gets to 0. Session is in the books. And that's that. Qualifying in the books. Justin Bonnarant, your pole sitter. Let's go down and take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position, as we said, it is the 11 of Justin Bonnarant with a lap time of 30.055. Outside front row, the 21, fastest in practice, Brandon Alphen, 21 thousandths of a second shy of that pole position. Starting in the second row, it's the 50 machine of Chris Treppa and Josh Gagnon, the number 79, starting fourth. Fifth starter, the 44 with Gunslingers Racing, it's Diego Sainz. Sixth is the number 2, Jason Dalton. In the number 63, starting in the 7th position, it's Alex Cummings, and then Tristan Lattiser, the number 23, starting 8th. Everett Hopney, the 32 out of Texas, he rolls from P9, and rounding out the top 10, it's the 20 of Jason Clark. Sean Petchen, the number 69 machine out of Illinois. He'll roll from P11. P12, J.W. Miller in the 6th. 13th starter is Sam Fontaine, the number 77 out of Canada. Cameron Ingram, Gunslingers Racing, the number 5, starts 14th. Alex Bryson, the number 38, will start in the 15th spot with Chris Evans starting 16th. Matt Telner in the 1 will be 17th. Richard Midkiff rolls from the 18th spot. Steve Miles, keep an eye on the 24 here. He starts 19th, but he's going to be a factor before this one's out. Cedric Ingram starts 20th. Luke Simonson starts 21st. Asher Gwinsey, 22nd. Tyler Brewer, 23rd. 24th goes to Sam Barnes. 25th, Kevin Davis. Blaine Sparling will start 26th. Chris Dean, the good old Dean machine, the 48, starts 27th. Robert Lukens will be 28th with Peak Performance Motorsports. Andrew Miller, the 74 will start 29th. Kyle Carroll in the 8 rolls 30th out of New York State. 31st, Gary Wright in the 61 with GW Racing. And 32, last but not least, White River Esports driver Mike Lemieux. I think I'm saying that right. He starts 32nd, shotgun on the field here today. It's your starting grid for the High Roller 201. Feel already starting to roll here on what I believe is going to be 1 pace lap. I might have heard race control jump in and say we're going to go 2, so we'll keep a close eye. Pace car lights are still on, so we may end up with 2 pace laps here. Talked about Steve Miles. Keep a close eye on the 24. He was the race winner last week. Race number 1 at Daytona belonged to the 24. Thrilling finish. And there you have it. Pace car lights go out, so we are officially now on the 1 to go. Remember last season, the Black Horizon Truck Series, Justin Bonnarant, awfully quick at the intermediate tracks, especially Auto Club Speedway. We saw it in the truck. We'll see if it translates here. So far, it's looking pretty good as he starts from the pole position. But he's going to have a hard time, I think, with the 21 of Brandon Alphen. He's been fast all evening long. Almost had it for pole position, unable to top that time of the 11. But race pace, totally different story. These two are certainly not the only ones with a shot at winning here tonight. Josh Gagnon with a good qualifying run, Diego Sainz, Jason Dalton, Alex Cummings, all these guys, familiar names from the Truck Series, always in contention. Hold them belts tight one more time, boys. We're getting ready to go racing. Pace cars down pit lane, waiting for Barney to wave the green flag. He does, and we are underway from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. point in the books. We got some cars spinning off of turn number 4 through the grass. I think Alex Cummings might have been one of them. Indeed, it was. Back under power, though. I don't think he hit anything. Only thing hurt with him is going to be the Pride. Gathers it back up. No caution. We stay under the green flag, but Cummings is going to go almost all the way to the back. In fact, he is in the back as Mike Lemieux did not take the start tonight here at Vegas. Justin Bondurant maintains the lead here, but that battle hot and heavy for the top 3. The 50 of Chris Treppa knocking on that back door hard. He says, let me in, I'm coming through. Going down to the bottom side, unable to make the pass. Thought he had a good run there through turns 1 and 2. Opens the door for Brandon Alphin off of turn number 2. He gets a look to the inside. Don't know if he's got enough of a run. Maybe he does. Down to the inside. On board with Chris Treppa, battling for that second spot. Brandon Alphin to the inside. These guys continue to battle side by side. Bondurant starting to get away just a little bit. Not by a lot, though. Only 3/10 the advantage for the 11. His second and third now line back out. Treppa and Alvin P2 and 3. Diego Sainz and Josh Gagnon rounding out the top 5. Alvin going back to the inside into turn number 3. Side by side. Alvin thinks better of it. Checks up just a bit through the dog leg. Alvin settling down there into P3. Meanwhile, Treppa trying to close back down to Bondurant. He is right there. Taking a look to the bottom. Not enough of a run, but he's making Bondurant aware that he's going to be there in contention for this win. Already battling for the lead. Treppa trying to make a name for himself. It's not a name I recognize here in GLSR. Might be a veteran, maybe, I don't know. Certainly has plenty of pace. Treppa going to the high side, taking a peek just again here, and Alvin closes in once again. Great battle here for the front 3 positions. Treppa going to the high side again here into turns 1 and 2. Big checkup from Bondurant, slides up the racetrack, gives the lead away. Bondurant lost the nose there in the middle of 3 and 4, had to lift, lets the 50 go by. Now he's got challenge from Brandon Alphin for the second spot. Battle for the lead once again. Brandon Alphin topside trying to give it to Treppa here. Big run coming out of turn number 4. Man, if this was the last lap, how close would it be? Well, close, but not that close. Trepa would have had it. It's allowing Bondurant to close back in. Thought we were going 3 wide for a minute. Maybe still there's a chance. Great battle for the top 3 positions here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Only 12 laps in. Bondurant back to the inside on a Brandon Alphin, trying to take the second spot back. Big Alphin missed the corner, opens the door for Bondurant. Bondurant takes the spot away. But for how long? Alphin with the run out of the corner on the high side, has the momentum, and a little bit of a draft from Trepa. These guys are just not giving up, and I'm curious about Diego Sainz and Josh Gagnon. They are back here watching this battle. I'm sure they have the ability to close in on these 3 and make a challenge, but again, it's early. Why push the issue? There's no points paid for lap 15 or 16 or 17. 134 is the one that matters. No sense tearing up your stuff early on, but of course, just as I say that, these guys start to close in on the top 3, as well as everybody else in behind the top 5. Now we got a battle for the 4 spot. Diego Sainz on the high side and Josh Gagnon on the bottom. Oh, slides up, contact, puts the 44 of Sainz in the fence. So far, no yellow. You saw it happen live. Gagnon slid up the racetrack, kind of lost the bottom, gets into the 44. Sainz goes up the racetrack. Looks like he's got some right rear damage. Indeed, he does. Right front as well. Sainz goes from the top 5 back into 14th. Just as we were saying, these guys are being smart, minding their P's and Q's, trying to not tear up their stuff. Well, they go ahead and just do just that. Bondurant back to the point meanwhile. Trepa back in the 2nd position. Brandon Alphin, Josh Gagnon, and now Sam Fontaine into the top 5. Battle for position here, the 2 of Dalton with Alex Bryson battling. The 38 High Rock Vodka machine on the bottom, that's Bryson. Dalton up top, now clears the 38. Dalton up into the 6th spot. Further back, we watch the battle for the 9th position. Tristan Lattiser in the number 23. Taking the spot from Jason Clark, the number 20 in the 10th spot. '20 slipping and sliding his way back through. Sean Petchen, the number 69 machine, making his way to be a part of this battle as well. He's on the high side. Was a threesome. Looks like the 23 is going his separate ways, though, as he starts to check out from Petchen and the 20 of Clark. Lattiser P9. Petchen now in the 10th spot. Clark slips back to 11th. "20 laps in here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to jump out and get a HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the High Roller 201. Justin Bonnarant remains the race leader over the 50 of Chris Treppa. Then it's 21 of Brandon Alphin, Sam Fontaine, J.W. Miller up into the 5th spot. Josh Gagnon has slipped back to 6th. Now you remember a handful of laps ago, Josh Gagnon and Diego Sainz came together off of turn number 4. Gagnon slipped up the racetrack, got into the left side of the 44, ultimately sending Diego up into the safer barrier. Diego is since out of this race with extensive repairs to be made on his machine. He is certainly not any longer in contention for this race win. Certainly had a shot at it. We watch the 79 of Josh Gagnon. Big time wiggle out of turn number 4. Let's stay close here with the 79. Keep an eye if he's having some trouble inside that machine. Really trying to turn that car hard down to the bottom. He's going to burn up the right front tire in doing that. But yeah, he's very, very loose once again there out of turn number 4. Certainly a home race for Josh Gagnon out of Reno, Nevada. of Matt Telder making his way on by. Gagnon slips back to the 10th spot. He was as high as P4. Back out front, Justin Bonnarant remains the race leader. Just under half a second advantage over second place Chris Treppa. About a full second back to Brandon Alphin. Remember, these guys were stuck together almost like they were glued together here for the first, 15 laps or so, 20 laps or so of this race. Exchanging the lead. I think all three drivers took the lead at one point. Bonnarant from the pole position went back as far as third, has worked his way back to the point here. But again, Treppa just like that, knocking on the door again here at 10th and less, going to the bottom here in the middle of 3 and 4. Just like that, Treppa back to the point. Bonnarant trying to challenge to take the lead back again. Tell you cannot take the racer out of the racer. These guys are out here early on in this race just battling for that top spot. They don't need to. Again, no stages in this series. The only place that pays is first place on the last lap. Lost the nose big time there off of 2. Lap 35 up on the board, 100 laps to go. Again, they are working on 100% fuel load here tonight, so it's going to be a little bit before we need to hit pit lane. Josh Gagnon now in the 11th spot, still falling back. 48 of Chris Dean making a move, looking to the inside. This would be for the 11th spot. And behind them, Sam Fontaine, and it looks like Chris Evans in a battle for position. That's for the 13th spot. Somebody got a piece of the wall there. It might have actually been the 00 of Chris Evans. Seems like Fontaine is the one who's starting to slip backwards. Got the 19, Cedric Ingram making the pass. Jason Clark closing in. He wants a piece of that as well. Fontaine back to the 16th position. Chris Treppa still in the race lead here. He's got about a half-second advantage over the 11 of Bonnarant. Gagnon continuing to free fall through the field. We watched it there a handful of times. Seems he's putting way too much wheel in it. Very loose off of turn number 4. Again, rear end of that car just hung out. Now, I don't know if he's just too loose or if he's intentionally trying to wear that right rear out because it's pushing like a dump truck. Almost seems like he's intentionally putting too much wheel into that race car to get the rear end to come around, add some extra heat into the right rear, a little extra friction, a little extra wear. Hopefully it helps the balance, and the caution is out. Asher Gwinsey possibly involved in this one. Indeed, he is. The 12. Celiac.org machine comes to rest here. The entry to turn number 3. Minimal damage, a little bit of right rear. Let's get a look at it. No help, really. Just gets into the wall. He gets collected there. Slides it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Meanwhile, leaders are hitting pit lane. Trepa, Bondurant, really the whole field here taking this opportunity. 40 laps in, now 41 here. Trepa misses the box, has to back it up. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. Right side's already changed on the 11 of Bondurant. Crew goes around to the left. 4 tires in Sunoco Racing Fuel. Drops the jack. Bondurant down and away. First off of pit lane. Looks like Alphin might have been second. J.W. Miller might have been close. There you have it. So with that first caution, we're going to step aside, get a break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Checkered flag. Contact and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short... Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, pace car lights are off. Field formed up 2 by 2 into turn number 4. Pace car is going to pull off here. We're going to get the green flag here. Back racing at lap 44. Barney waves the green. Good jump for the 11 of Honorot. Timed it perfect. Gets out to a 3/4 advantage already over the 6 of Miller. Lap 45, Bondurant maintains the lead just a half second over the 6 of J.W. Miller. Chris Treppa up into the 3rd spot. Alex Bryson, Brandon Alf in the top 5 as they battle it out. One car in the wall, not sure who it was. Nothing significant, just a gentle scrape. Meanwhile, in the stream chat, we've got a bunch of you guys in here. Certainly appreciate it. Keep chatting us up here. Cheer on your favorite driver. Tell us where you're watching from. Chris Goins in here. Great racing so far. Tough cars to drive. Treppa up into the 2nd spot, trying to take care of the 6 of Miller. Does so into 3. Miller thought about driving it back to the bottom, but Treppa shuts the door. Now with Bondurant almost a full second out ahead of the 50 here, it's curious how quickly he can reel in the 11 and put the challenge on. We saw in the first portion of this race how much these top 3 drivers wanted to battle. And that, at the time, was Bondurant, Treppa, and Brandon Alphin going back and forth for the lead. Now it's Bondurant, Treppa, and Miller, the top 3. Alphin back into P6, but don't count them out yet. We're not even halfway. Plenty of racing still to go. Bondurant trying to build a gap here. It's up to a full second. Josh Canyon, we saw him fall from the top 4 backwards at the end of that last stint, early running the 11th spot. Tucks in behind Matt Telder. Tyler Brewer in behind the 79. And then the 48, Chris Dean. And behind him, Alex Cummings. Cummings running in the 14th spot, and then Everett Hobdy back in P15. Telder hanging out of that 10th position. Gagnon there in 11th. Not moving forward, not moving backwards. I'll tell you though, I would be curious to see the tire wear numbers on that number 79 after that first run. Telder taking a look to the inside of Cameron Ingram in the 5. right on board with Tyler Brewer here as he goes 3 wide. Alex Cummings, the number 63, took a peek to the bottom on the 40 as Brewer was trying to make the pass on Chris Dean. It's changed up. Chris Dean looking to the inside, trying to take the spot from Josh Gagnon. This is for the 11th position. Dean takes care of Josh Gagnon, gets himself in the 11th spot. He's trying to get to the P10 spot there. Telder just ahead of him, but Gagnon's going to battle back, looking to the inside. Not enough of a run to make anything with it. Dean trying to change it up, looking to the outside on Matt Telder. Meanwhile, Bondurant out to a full 2-second advantage over the 50 of Chris Treppa. Alexander Bryson is third, J.W. Miller fourth, Tristan Laddiser in P5. Gagnon gets the fence off turn number 2. Can he save it? Nope, maybe not. Is he trying? Yeah, he's still trying. Gets her woe down, keeps it out of the fence at least for a second time. The right side pancakes the outside safer barrier. Definitely some damage on that machine now. He did a good job getting her woe down, almost kept it straight down the Nellis straightaway. Trying to get a look to see what happened here from another perspective here. This is the replay. Just drove it wide. Didn't lift, kept his foot in it. Great move by Tyler Brewer to avoid contact. I want to go back and watch that from his perspective. So let's find him here. Tyler Brewer, this was back at the end of the top 10, it looks like. And we'll ride in the in-car camera here with Brewer. Full speed. Gagnon gets the fence off of 2. He's got to make evasive action to get around. Just barely. One thing to miss him, another thing to keep that car straight down to that dirty apron and getting it back up onto the banking. Now he's got debris on the tire. Great job for the 40. Gagnon stays in it here, running now 22nd, but again with damage, and that's not going to be a quick fix. As a reminder, they do not use fast repairs in this particular league, this series. Same as it was in the Black Horizon Truck Series. And the caution does come out. Sam Fontaine in trouble, it appears. Fontaine slow at the end of the back straightaway. Looks like he got run into in some way, shape, or form. Let's take a look, see what happened with Sam Fontaine. Oh, Brewer. Tyler Brewer, trouble off turn 2, much like Gagnon. Worried about the debris that could have been on the tire after he went down to the apron there to avoid the 79, but a lap later, big time trouble off turn number 2. Slides up the racetrack and then collects the 77. Let's get another look at it here. Watch from Tyler Brewer. It started to go tight on him, and then it loosened up. He tried to chase it up the racetrack. Nowhere really for Fontaine to go. He gets a big chunk of that wall. Watch from the roof cam here on Sam Fontaine. This is the only difference between the last lap with Brewer and this lap with Fontaine. Fontaine probably could have gone further down into the apron to avoid, but didn't anticipate Brewer coming down as hard as he did. Hindsight's always 20/20, but I don't know. He might not have 20/20 after that hit. So under caution for the second time today. We're going to step aside, get another break out of the way. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
He did by 2/100ths of a second over Brandon. That S4 guy off turn 4 for the final time sees the checkered flag. It waves. It belongs to the 315. Checkered flag. Contact, and Brian Rose wins it. A photo finish at the line. Oh, we got a wreck. Will Hewitt's through the trial for the final time, and oh, they're wrecking. Big trouble. Vincent Short sneaks through, and I think Short... Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, working our second caution of the evening, getting ready to go back to the green flag. Lap 64 will be the restart. Pace car is off.
Ready, green, green, green.
Alex Bryson with the race lead here. J.W. Miller, Brandon Alphin, Steve Miles, Sean Petchin, the top 5. Had a mix of drivers opting to pit and some that opted not to. Right now, the top 7 drivers are those that opted not to. Pitted on lap 40. Justin Bondurant, Chris Treppa did opt to hit pit lane at lap 61. Then there's a couple other peppered in through there that opted to as well. See how that changes things throughout the course of this race. Remember, they do have 3 sets of tires over the wall to start this race only, and we are just about halfway. If those drivers that pit on lap 61 did take 4 tires, and it appears that they have, looking at some of the pit stop times, they've only got 1 more set left over the wall. They're going to have to nurse to the finish of this race that or pray for some more caution so they don't burn up the ones they've got. Meanwhile, Bryson starting to pull away here, about a 1/4 second advantage over the 6 of Miller. Brandon Alphin, though, he's closing in quickly on that 2nd spot as well. Just like that, Bondurant working on P3 with fresher tires. This won't take too long, I don't think. Contact with Treppa and Bondurant. Chris Treppa not in the mood to wait. Bondurant might have thrown a little bit of a block there. Just like that, Treppa goes back to the point, shot out of a cannon. Also one of those drivers that took tires, but man, oh man. He went from 3rd to 1st in just a couple of corners. Bondurant working his way through back again. Going to try this one more time. He's going to put the challenge onto the 50 once he gets there, I'm sure. This is going to be fun to watch if he can catch Treppa. A little loose in the middle of 1 and 2 is the 11. Now down the Nellis straightaway. So your top 5 is Chris Treppa, Justin Bondurant, 38 of Alex Bryson, J.W. Miller, Brandon Alphin. As it is now, the new tires have quickly worked their way to the front of the field. Just by comparison, best laps of the day here, low 30s. Drivers on tires from lap 40 are running lap times a full second plus slower than that. Say a 31.29, 31.20, 31.22, 38, so on and so forth. Treppa still with the race lead, though. Bondurant starting to close back in. These two are really driving away on those newer tires, but it's all going to come full circle here if this thing stays green for quite some time. Those that pit on lap 40, they've only burned 1 set of tires. They've still got 2 sets over pit lane. Deficit between the leaders are closing in still. Treppa had that 6/10. Now it's just over 4/10 and shrinking. Equal footing for both these drivers. Again, they pit at lap 61. They both took tires. They've already jumped out to a 3-second advantage over the 3rd place driver of Alex Bryson, number 38. Watching the battle further back here. This is for the 5th spot. Brandon Alphin on the bottom. Tristan Lattiser up top. Again, the 23 also with fresh tires. Gladys are up into the 3rd spot. Seems that fresh tires certainly working out for just about everybody. Everett Hobney back in 12th. He did take tires as well, but he was there getting some repairs made, it seems. Over a full minute in the pits. Got Corey W. in the stream chat. This is a hard track too, not gonna lie. I agree. Vegas is fun, but it's not straightforward. It's not an easy place to get around. You do have to take care of your stuff. J.W. Miller in the number 6 machine underneath the 38 of Bryson, trying to make a move for that 4th position. Telder coming into the frame as well. Battle behind them. You got Steve Miles battling with Alex Cummings. And we talked about it before this race really got underway. Keep an eye on that 24, a race winner from last week at Daytona. Trying to have another solid finish here at Vegas. He had a bunch of wins in the Truck Series last season. Things unchanged at the front. Treppa still with the lead. Bondurant a half second back in second. Gladysher, although impressive in P3, about 4 seconds back from those leaders. Telder, contact with the 6. The 6 is in the wall. So is Telder. We've got trouble. Caution doesn't come out yet. J.W. Miller slow down the backstretch. Tough break to not get a yellow on that one. Certainly should have been. JW is going to go straight to pit lane here to get his needed repairs. Telner stays on the racetrack. Let's see how he looks. A little bit of right rear damage. Not sure what the right side looks like. Hopefully we can get an idea. Right rear buckled up pretty good. Other than that, though, it doesn't look terrible. Try and go back here and get a look at it. I don't even have indication from iRacing that there was an incident on the track, but we found it here as J.W. Miller was trying to get to pit lane. We just have to rewind it the best that we can. We will do just that, and we can watch this here in slow-mo. See Telder in the black and purple, number 1 in the bottom. He's going to slide up the racetrack. J.W. Miller, he's still in between those seams. I think he's kind of minding his own. Now he's below the seam a little bit. Telder does come up off the bottom slightly, but ultimately they do come together. I'm sure the admins are going to have fun looking at this one later. JW, hard impact into the safer barrier. Telder, pretty good hit as well, but seems to be more damage on the 6 as he had to go to pit lane immediately to get that repaired. Chris Dean trying to avoid. Great job getting through there. I think the 32 might have scraped some paint off that machine, but that's about it. Teller's last lap with the damage, a 32.16. Now remember, Telder did have fresher tires as well, so he's actually well off the pace in comparison. Those that took tires in the top 5, let's say Alex Cummings, where he was running near 31.40 the last lap. So certainly the right rear damage on the Telder machine, slowing him up just a bit. He's going to hope for a caution, try to get some of that banged out and fixed. He sits now in P13 on the lead lap. Really impressed with Chris Treppa here at the front of the field. 0.8 of a second now the advantage over the 11 of Justin Bondurant. Bondurant unable to close that gap. Last lap for Treppa, a 30.21. Bondurant, however, a 30.18. Now we're talking peanuts here. We're 0.03 of a second different. See what happens here when they trip the timing sticks here at the line here in just a minute. Trep off of 4 here, this time by Crosses the line, lap 85. Last lap for Treppa, now a 31.77 to the 31.89 of Bondurant, so faster still. Brandon Alphin coming down pit lane. I can't imagine this is a scheduled stop. I guess it could be. Yeah, if he was one of the drivers that pit on lap 40, about 45 laps into the stint. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel for the number 21. Corey W. in the stream chat, did they not caution? No, they did not. It's all iRacing cautions. I could be wrong here, but I don't believe GLSR runs with a live admin. Some leagues do, some don't, but it's a crapshoot no matter what. iRacing misses it sometimes. The threshold isn't high enough in some spots, but the same thing can happen with a live admin. He could be sitting there watching one part of the racetrack, miss the wreck, caution doesn't come out. It just happens. Unfortunately, it's reality. It even happens in the real thing. Of course, not as much because you got 8 million spotters out there, but we stay under the green flag through that wreck. Alphin finishes up his stop 15.1 seconds. That was his second stop of the day. So he's going to be out there in fresh rubber trying to make up some track position with an extra set over the wall. So honestly, the 21 here, Brandon Alphin, in pretty good shape. Remember, he was the fast guy in practice. In fact, let's go back and take a look at those practice results to see the 21. One of only 2 drivers to crack 29 seconds. Brandon Alphin and Sam Fontaine were the quickest. Fontaine, of course, has had his issues here tonight. Treppa still looking strong out here at the front of the field. That 0.8 of a second on the timing tower looks like a good amount. But man, you look at it from this perspective, Bondurant's not that far back. He's not right there, but we're only talking about 8-10 car lengths. Alex Cummings has worked his way up into the top 4. Started 7th here today. Sam Barnes, we haven't talked about at all today. And that number 22, the Mission 22 machine. Barnes is up 11 spots. Started 24th, currently sitting in the 13th position. Oh, we got trouble. We've got trouble. Cars in the wall. The 22 machine manages to get her woe down, and we still don't get the caution. So green flag stops underway here. Sean Petchin in the pits in the Air Force number 69. Petchin looks like fuel only on the 69. He's going to try and save a set or 2, it looks. Interesting strategy for the number 69 machine. Unless I missed the right side tire change, that could be. It's only a 9.9 second stop, so there's a possibility there that he might have got right sides bolted on. Cameron Ingram in the 5, he's in pit lane. Great entry to the pit box, slides it to a stop, doesn't have to back up, right on the money. Kevin Davis in his pit box. And Sean Petchin back in pit lane. I'm starting to wonder if what was going on there with that tire change or non-tire change. Maybe he didn't have that box checked. Maybe he got a penalty exiting, I don't know. See what happens here with Petchin as he's back on the pit lane here, into his box, comes to a stop. And there goes the right sides. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, unless he didn't get fuel in it, I don't see why you'd want to come back down the second time just for the tires. You're going to lose that much more track position. I know this race has been pretty clean. We've only had a couple of cautions, but man, if I'm him, knowing, hey, I've already made my bed, I've got a mistake that I got to worry about, you might want to gamble. Stay out on the racetrack for a little while. Maybe you get a caution. Maybe you get that opportunity to come down and bolt on the tires under the yellow. I know it's tough to be out there on old rubber, but you're already in bad shape. Don't make it worse. It's just my opinion. Not picking on you, Sean, just an observation. Luke Simonson in the pits, the number 49. Oh, locks him up trying to get into the pit box. Asher Gwinsey just in behind team cars, the 49 and the 12, both with celiac.org on board. Steve Miles in the pits. Right side tires have been changed. Good stop for Miles, 14.78 seconds. So this is where things are going to start to get a little interesting. We're closing in the latter half or latter third of this race. We've got some drivers on old tires. Right now, Chris Dean, driver with the oldest set of tires in the field, he pit last at lap 40, runs 6th right now. Chris Dean in the 48 might be setting up for a pit stop here soon. But he might be gambling as well. He's gotten all that track position the way that he has by staying out. If he can get lucky enough to grab a caution here and get to pit lane under the yellow flag, it would be a huge advantage for him. Again, only one set of tires burned out of the 3 allotted thus far, so he still has 2 sets to play with here with 37 laps remaining. So with that, all these pit stops cycling through, we've got 8 cars currently on the lead lap. With the exception of Chris Dean, those are all the drivers that pit back at lap 61. So a little bit of time before they hit pit lane here under the green flag. Maybe they get lucky enough to get a caution, but we shall see. In the meantime, we're going to go HBR TV side by side. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, lap 106. Race leader Chris Treppa pulling down from the banking into pit lane here to make his what expected to be the final stop of the race. And man, if there was ever a time we didn't want a caution, it's now. We've only got 3 cars on the lead lap due to this pit cycle, the way it's going down. Alex Cummings currently the race leader. Treppa into his pit box. Does he get in clean? Nice and clean. However, Justin Bondurant came down at lap 102.
Caution's out.
And the caution comes out.
Make sure you're
Matt
getting close
Telder
up on the
involved
green
in
there,
this
buddy.
one somewhere on the racetrack, facing the wrong direction. Off turn 4, almost getting collected. This is ultimately going to be a win here for the top 3 drivers, Cummings, Alphin, and Miles. Everybody else is a lap down. Bondurant, though, as long as he wasn't involved in any way, shape, or form, he should be the lucky dog. He'd be back on the lead lap. But lap 107, we get our 3rd caution of the night. Let's try and get a look at it here, what happened with the 1. Telder getting loose in the middle of the corner, tries to chase it up the racetrack. A little bit of a tank slap, kind of what we see with these next-gen cars, but at least he's able to dirt track it here for a little bit. Gets down to the flat with a little bit of right turn into it, sends it up the racetrack into the safer barrier. Lucky to not get collected by anyone else, but it still puts us under the yellow flag here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So meanwhile, Alex Cummings taking the opportunity to hit pit lane. I don't know if this was the absolute last moment of opportunity for the 63. If he was out of fuel, I don't even know if the pits are open right now. But he has to come down and do this if he's that far out of fuel. Either way, it's going to be in a good position here once we go back to the green flag. Cummings down and away. Now it's showing about 10 cars on the lead lap. We'll see how this all shakes out. Treppa really getting the best benefit here. He's able to come down pit lane, get into his pit box, get the pit work started, and just as that was the case, the caution comes out. So he's able to get his pit work done without losing a lap. Now you may be wondering why it didn't just have the 3 drivers on the 1 lap. Obviously the timing tower information coming direct from iRacing. While the race leaders were in pit lane, see everybody else that was listed as a lap down at the time of caution may not necessarily have made it back to their timing line to indicate they have gotten that lap back. So they're getting it cycled back through here, but either way, it's going to be looking to be about 10 cars on the lead lap here. We've got 25 laps to go. Treppa's listed as the leader. We see all these cars in front of him, likely to get the wave around here on the 1 to go signal. So they'll be back around behind the 50, but still on the lead lap. Sounds like we got some drivers rolling around here in first gear, wide open. Which is okay. Maybe trying to make the fuel load a little bit lighter, get that rear spoiler up in the air a bit. So I believe we are now on the 1 to go. We've got wave around cars going by the pace car. Right now, as it stands, Chris Treppa still your race leader. Alex Cummings to the outside. It seems that just about everybody took their opportunity to hit pit lane here for their final set of tires. Alex Bryson, though, he opted not to. His pit stop came in lap 95. He still has a set left. Tristan Lattiser, pit lap 100, likely his last set of tires.
Up in the lineup.
Getting word from race control, we're going to go one more time around here under caution, trying to get everybody caught up. There was a bunch of wave around cars. Again, we've only got about 10 cars currently on the lead lap. No way these guys are going to get all caught up and in line in time. See out of turn 4, all the wave around drivers finally catching the tail of the field. Now we get the one to go. Green flag will come out here with 22 laps remaining. Everybody should be good to go to the end. Looking at last pit stops. So as it stands now, Josh Gagnon, the last car on the lead lap, in 13th. So from 13th up, those drivers on the lead lap in contention here still. Of course, another caution could move another driver into that position to be on the lead lap. That S4 guy in the stream chat. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Wave the green flag, Barney. That'd be Zach Millett in the stream chat. Shaping up for another battle here. Treppa with the race lead, then Alex Cummings. Brandon Alphin, Steve Miles, Justin Bondurant. We saw a great battle between Treppa, Alphin, and Bondurant early. Now we've got some other fast movers and shakers here within the top 6. We'll see if we can turn this into a 6-way battle for the race win here. Pace car pulls off. Barney with the green in hand.
Green flag.
We're back racing from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 22 laps to go. Treppa maintains the top spot, but Brandon Elfin closing the gap. 10th and a half back is the 21. Remember, he was very, very fast early on in this race. Started outside front row, fastest in practice. Treppa has been lights out here, though, for the last, I would say, 2/3 so far of this race. Off of 4 here, coming to 20 laps to go. It's Treppa, Elfin, Miles, Cummings, Bondurant. That's your top 5. Bondurant back 1.4 seconds back from this race lead battle. All the chips are down here at Las Vegas. Treppa's not going to hold his cards close to the vest at all here for the final 19 laps. He is going to be in full send mode. Brandon Elfin likely the same. Last lap for the leader, 30.26. Brandon Elfin at 30.35. Dirty air likely affecting that machine in behind race leader Chris Treppa. Alphin has got some pace. He's right there, but does he have enough to make the pass? Trappa drives it way deep, pulls it down to the middle lane. Alphin stays topside. He comes down a little bit later. Might have a run out of 2. Not a big one, though. Still about 0.2 of a second off of Trappa, down into turn number 3. Taking a peek to the bottom into turns 1 and 2. He's alongside, but not quite enough. He's going to lose some momentum out of turn 2. Still going to pick up a draft down the Nellis straightaway. Leaders working through turns 3 and 4. Coming to 15. Laps to go. Across the stripe once again. Trappa still with the race lead, but Alphin not giving up. Still right there, 1/10 of a second. Not even a car length. Dives it to the bottom once again, trying to throw off the rhythm of the 50 of Chris Trappa. If they work out of turn number 2, Alphin has to slide back in behind the 50. Laps remain. Race leader Chris Trappa, second Brandon Alphin. Alex Cummings is third. Justin Bondurant runs in the 4 spot. Steve Miles started 19th. He's up into the top 5. I told you, don't count him out. He's going to be there. 6th is Lattiser. 7th, Bryson. Cameron Ingram is 8th. 9th is Cedric Ingram. Christine is 10th. Then it's Everett Hobby 11th, Luke Simonson 12th, Josh Gagnon rounding out the 13 lead lap cars. I will say that the longer this run goes on, does seem to favor the 50 machine. He seemed to be lights out here as far as the long run was concerned. The longer they went, more of a gap he was able to put on the rest of the field, including Justin Bondurant, who had a lot of pace early on. For Bondurant now back into the 5th position. Oh, had a lift just a bit. Alphin to the bottom. Side by side, Alphin drives it in deep, the low side. Can he slide up? He's clear, but not by much. Gets across the nose of Chris Trappa off at turn 4, coming to 10 laps to go. New leader, Brandon Alphin. Looking back topside, though, is the 50, trying to build a run. Slams the door as the 21 into turns 1 and 2. Trappa still stays topside, going to try and build some momentum out of turn number 2. It's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway. Trappa to the outside, Alphin to the bottom. Into turn number 3 once again. We see that slide up in front of the 50 in turn 4. Nine laps remain from Las Vegas. Brandon Alphin, the pole sitter. Sorry, not the pole sitter, outside pole sitter. Fastest in practice, though, has worked his way finally around the 50 of Chris Trappa. Takes the top spot here with less than 9 laps to go. Trappa not giving an inch, though. Only a car length off the back bumper of the 21 through turns 3 and 4. Once again, coming to 8 laps to go. Last lap for Alphin, a 30.18. Trappa, a 30.21. Sorry, 31.37 to a 31.47. I'm looking at best laps of the race. That's not helping things. Alphin starting to get a little comfortable though, stretches it out. You gotta wonder though, is Treppa saving some tire here, cooling those things off a bit here before we get to 5 to go. Maybe he's gonna take another run at the 21. Maybe not done just yet. As the Camaro of the Brandon Alphin machine comes across the line here to put it 7 laps remaining. Treppa now 2.5 tenths back, closes it in a half a tenth through turns 1 and 2. He does seem to be much stronger there in the first 2 corners of the lap. Loses a lot off of turn number 2 though, loses a couple of tenths. I don't know if he got the safer barrier or not, but man, a big gap is now stretched out here with Alphin up half a second over second place. Chris Treppa coming to 6 laps to go. Alphin with a comfortable lead over Treppa. It's now over 6 tenths of a second back to second place. 1.8 back to Steve Miles, who's worked himself into a top 3 spot. Alex Cummings 4th, Justin Bondurant 5th. Bondurant, your pole sitter here tonight. Four laps to go for the 21. Roll through our lead lap drivers once again. Brandon Alphin, Chris Treppa, Steve Miles, the top 3. Then it's Alex Cummings in 4th. 5th, Justin Bondurant. Laddiser 6th. Bryson 7th. Chris Dean is 8th. Cameron Ingram 9th. 10th is Cedric Ingram. Everett Hobby is 11th. Luke Simonson is 12th. Josh Gagnon, last car on the lead lap in 13th. Three laps to go from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Alphin continues to stretch the advantage over the 50 of Chris Treppa. It's 1 full second, or almost a full second, as they get into turn number 3. Less than 3 laps to go. Alphin just wants to see a white flag here next time by. We've got 2 to go. White flag will make it easy. We got a car in the grass. Kyle Carroll, slow. If he's that slow, I don't know what he's doing up on the banking. Nevertheless, out of turn 4, across the stripe, white flag waves one more time around for Brandon Alphin, and he will secure the victory here. The high roller 201. Nice and clean off of turn number 2. No issues, no pressure out the back. I'll tell you who does have pressure. It's Chris Treppa. Steve Miles on a charge here, looking for second place on the last lap. Oh, contact maybe. Little loose goes Treppa, but Miles gets on through. Treppa saves it, but checkered flag waves. Brandon Alphin's going to win the high roller 201, and Steve Miles is going to sneak by for second on the last lap. Brandon Alphin, your race winner. Brandon Alphen celebrating here on the front stretch at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to jump out to a break. Be back with our top 3 finishers after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the High Roller 201 in the books. Brandon Alphen, your race winner. Let's pull driver that number 21 machine up into the broadcast booth. Brandon, it's Steve with HBR TV. You got a good copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Brandon, congratulations, man. You were lights out fast in practice. Just missed the pole position, but battled your way back. Take the checkered flag here tonight. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I felt like I had pretty good pace. I think the first run kind of burnt up my stuff a little bit too much. It's been a while. I missed last week, so I was excited after our little break, and then as the run went on, JW kind of helped out too, because I was kind of thinking that the top was more so going to be more dominant over the long run, but he was just talking about how he ran the bottom line pretty much that whole first stint, and man, he was coming up through the field, and so I just kind of listened to him and kind of went a little bit easier, and then just tried to make something happen with the caution whenever I think there was maybe 7 or 8 of them that pitted and got tires. Just was kind of kind of hoping it went, green the rest of the way, but then got fortunate enough where I caught him and actually I got my lap back. So I just kind of lucked out with that.
Well, talking about burning up your stuff early on, we certainly appreciate it up here in the booth because the battle between yourself, Bondurant, and Treppa there early on in the race was a great one to watch. I know it was early on. We were just crossing our fingers that nobody wadded one up.
Yeah, and that's what actually we were talking about in our Discord, just saying, I was like, man, I forgot, how fun this was and that kind of thing. I don't really race officials too much, but just kind of was a little excited, so that's why I tried to tone it down a little bit, but it was definitely fun running with Chris and Bondo. So it's always, always fun when you have good, hard, clean racing.
Well, congratulations again, Brandon. Next week we roll the Nashville Super Speedway. Certainly different style racetrack, but how do you feel about your chances out there?
I like Nashville. I don't really, in the Xfinity car, I've more so ran trucks there, but I'm pretty familiar with the track. So I'm hoping to have, top 10 pace. That's just kind of my goal I set for next week, and then just try to be there at the end. I know, like I said, I missed last week, and I know it was only one caution, so it seems like we've had fairly clean races so far. So that's just, going to be my focus next week, and then hopefully come out with a good finish.
Couple races into the season, you're absolutely right. Some great racing, some clean racing, off to a great start. Again, congratulations on the win here tonight. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, got to give a shout out Stephen Miles, who's also my teammate, kind of putting all this together as far as because we're good friends in Discord outside of GLSR, and so that's what I was debating on even running this season just to kind of take a break from everything, but then he kind of talked me into it, so definitely give him a shout out. And then also too, I don't know if you saw the paint, man. I didn't have nothing, so we don't really have any sponsors for this season, so I had to just put a little bit about me. I'm a big fan of Morgan Wallen and then the Dallas Cowboys and that big star. So
I was wondering whose mug that was on the side.
It's hard to see. I mean, I'm not a paint. I don't claim to be a pro in trading paint, so I just slapped that on about 30 minutes before the race. So I'm gonna have to try to come up with something for next week. But then also too, Steve, give a shout out to you as well. So we appreciate what you do and going back each week to watch the replay. So we appreciate you.
Appreciate being here again. Congratulations, man. Thanks for talking to us. Wish you the best of luck next week.
All right, appreciate it.
Brandon Elfin, your race winner here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next, we're going to pull Steve Miles up into the broadcast booth. Get a word with the driver of the number 24. Stephen Miles. It's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Steve, congratulations, man. Started 19th, brought that thing home P2, and did it in thrilling fashion. I don't know if there was contact between yourself and Chris in those final couple of corners, but man, you certainly made it exciting. Tell us about it.
Yeah, man, I need to stop doing my stuff like this, starting all the way in the back and stuff. Yeah, I think I held my line, and I think we touched, but I feel bad for that. But I'm glad he finished third, I think. But I didn't drive in over my head or nothing. I think I was just holding my line and knew I couldn't ride that bottom. But it just sucks, man. My car was awesome on the long run. It's just the early stages, I couldn't get it going. And to drop back to fifth and come back like I did, I mean, I'm proud. I'm proud of me. I'm proud of this team. Alvin getting his first win on the first race he started this season. And we have a strong team, man. We finished 1, 2, 3 last week, and we finished 1, 2 this week. And I mean, just try to keep it going.
So some solid finishes to start the season. Next week we go to Nashville Super Speedway. How do you feel about that place?
I have no clue. My personal opinion, this setup was bad. I tried getting. I don't see how everybody was fast at qualifying, but I couldn't get it, and I just had to work my way up there and get that clean air. This car is new for me. First time running it in a league or just in period without restrictor plates. So we're just gonna run practice laps and try to just keep it going, man. That's all we can do.
Well, we said at the start of the broadcast when we saw you qualify back there in the 19th spot, I said don't be surprised to see Steve Miles near the front of the field when this thing is finally all said and done. And, well, we're not surprised. Nice run for P2, man. Congratulations. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Shout out my teammates, AB, JW, Alfin, My Ric Flair drip Chevy, it's a hot ride, man. It looks amazing. Bo Caro Designs, he created my paint scheme. So thank him, thank my girlfriend, thank God, and appreciate you for broadcasting this, man. You do an awesome job, and see you next week.
Thanks for the kind words, man. Good luck next week in Nashville.
Thank you.
So Steve Miles, your second place finisher here. Let's talk to Chris Treppa here. Let's see what he has to say about his third place finish. Chris, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
We're doing good, Chris, man. You were lights out fast here tonight. Unfortunately, for your sake, a third place finish that we thought was going to be a second place finish. First and foremost, nice job. But walk us through that final lap. I don't think there was anything you had really left to chase down Brandon. But what happened there with you and Steve Miles? Was there contact, or did he just get the best of you?
Yeah, I decided I was going to burn off my tires a little earlier than I would have liked, so I was falling back and I wasn't really comfortable running the bottom. So he got side by side into three, and I was running. I'm looking at the freeze right now. It's about 2.5, 3 lanes up. So he kind of got into me, but I understand he was racing hard. But now I know how it's going to be.
Miles is certainly an aggressive one. He's quick. And again, last lap of the race, you kind of do what you got to do. He didn't wreck you, so there's that, but that could have been some talent on your part. You've got a lot of experience here in iRacing, so can you take that experience out to Nashville and maybe get a win next week?
Yeah, I'm really hoping. Nashville's one of those tracks that I'm not the best at, but I'm hoping I can figure out what to do here on the short runs and how to balance it in between the short and long, because I felt like today I was pretty good on the long runs, but then when it came down to this one, I didn't know. I thought if I pushed about 90%, I would have been okay to the end, but unfortunately it didn't happen that way.
Well, early enough in the season to make changes and learn this race car as it goes on. We certainly wish you the best, Chris. Congratulations on P3, man. Who do you want to shout out to?
Yeah, thanks. I want to shout out Juncos Esports. We're going down to Detroit this week for the IndyCar race, so we're hoping to see a good result after a good P12 finish in the Indy 500 last week.
All right, Chris. Well, again, thanks for talking to us, man. Wish you the best of luck in Nashville.
Thank you.
It's Chris Treppa, your third place finisher here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's going to wrap it up for the interview portion of our broadcast, but let's take a look at our race results. Of course, we talked to our top three: Brandon Alphin, Steve Miles, Chris Treppa. Alex Cummings was your fourth place finisher. Justin Bondurant was fifth. Tristan Lattiser was sixth. Seventh was Alex Bryson. Christine, the Dean Machine, was eighth. Cameron Ingram was ninth, and Cedric Ingram was 10th. I think that's where they finished last week. I know they were consecutive finishing positions last week, and it might have been 9th and 10th. We got to go back and look, but got to get these guys away from each other. Everett Hobdy was 11th. Luke Simonson, 12th. Josh Gagnon, P13. Last car on the lead lap. Solid run for the 79. Jason Clark was 14th. Sam Barnes, 15th. Sean Petchin, 16th. 17th was Kevin Davis. 18th was Tyler Brewer. 19th finisher was Blaine Sparling. 20th went to Gary Wright. 21st, Matt Telder. Kyle Carroll was 22nd. 23rd, Asher Gwinzy. Richard Midkiff was 24th. Rob Lukens, 25th. Chris Evans, 26th. 27th went to Jason Dalton. 28th, Andrew Miller. J.W. Miller was 29th. Sam Fontaine, 30th. Diego Sainz. Tough break out of this one early with some damage. 31st, and Mike Lemieux did not take the green flag, but will take the 32nd position here tonight. Got to thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a fun broadcast. I'm glad we got to do this one live. It was a great race. And again, if you tuned in tonight to watch the Gulf Coast Sim Racers late model stock race at Martinsville, stay tuned. We'll get that aired here this week. We just got to go through and rebroadcast it. I'm going to broadcast it as if I haven't seen it. It will be live, so no surprises. Nice and short. Fun racing over there, but thank those guys, Corey Bodie for that matter, for letting us do this one live over here at Downrange Transport Premier Series. Really appreciate that, him working with us on that to get this done here live tonight. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Thanks for the stream chat. We do appreciate it. If you haven't already checked out the website, please do that as well, hbrtv1.com. We've got some photos there, basically screenshots from all our races. You've got a live tab to check out events. We're going to try and get some real racing photos up this season. The handful of races that I'll end up going to, we'll get some of that posted up as well. So check that out. And if you haven't already liked the stream, please do that. If you're still in here watching, that actually helps us more than anything else. Just like the stream. Yes, we try to make a little bit of a living doing this, but the likes really spread this out to some more eyeballs, gets it in front of a wider audience, makes a huge difference. It's going to wrap it up for us here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The High Roller 201 in the books. Congratulations to Brandon Alphin. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.